Hello, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kate. I'm a wife and a mom of 3 kids, Olivia, who is 7, Eden, who is 4.5, and Asher, who is 2, about to be 2.5. This is my guide to a poetic November or fall, because this could apply for October and December as well. This is going to be a classical / Charlotte Mason inspired list of ways to really enjoy the season for yourself as mom, but also to give a poetic knowledge, a poetic understanding of this season to your children and to really make it a beautiful time in your family. Okay, so what is poetic knowledge? Poetic knowledge is really rooted in wonder and imagination. It's the kind of knowledge you get through experience and not through studying something in a book or looking facts up about it. It's a direct, emotional, personal grasp of reality. The first idea is to have simmer pots on the stove and to simmer maybe oranges and cinnamon sticks, cloves, filling your home with these different aromas of fall, I think is a really good place to start. So now that daylight savings time happened a few days ago, I also like to fill our homes with candles and soft, moody lighting, especially when the sun goes down. So I'm thinking about lamps on, beeswax candles, having candles set up on the dining room table. Eating by candlelight is something we really love to do in the fall. Another thing I love to do in the fall is to hold a warm mug in my hands, especially outside on like a chilly morning, and give your kids a chance to experience this too. Maybe some hot cocoa or some bone broth hot chocolate, which is my favorite thing. I will leave the recipe down below. I am planning to give my kids bone broth hot chocolate every single day of the fall, which I know sounds crazy, but it's actually a super nourishing drink. And so that's gonna get into one of my other points, but it has bone broth in it, it has raw milk in it, maple syrup. It's just this beautifully nourishing, soothing drink, but in a warm mug outside when it's chilly. It gives you all the feels. It just makes you feel so good inside, and you really get to feel the coziness of fall. Next, speaking of outside, go for lots of walks on paths where their leaves have fallen and they're gonna crunch under your feet. Make crunchy leaves a part of the soundtrack of the season. Be somewhere. We actually went for a walk this morning and the leaves were falling from the trees, and just the little noise that they made, I tried to pay attention to it. Pay attention to the noises of the leaves. Pay attention every time I hear geese outside this time of year. Every single time I try to look up and I tell my kids, the geese are coming, look up, look at them. And we make a big deal of just observing the birds. What are the trees doing? How do the leaves sound when they're falling out of the tree? What does it feel like to jump into a leaf pile? Yesterday we went out for a walk, and though it was, on the chillier side, it was in the 50s maybe, so kind of a nice day for November. My daughter wanted to take her shoes off, and I let her take her shoes off on the trail, walk on the gravel, walk where the leaves were. We made a leaf pile and she was jumping in it barefoot. Allow your child to have this sensory experience of the fall every time the fall comes around. So it's almost this familiar friend, the crunch of the leaves under their feet, the feel of the leaves, the pine cones. Interact with nature as much as you can, really at all times of year, but those are just some ideas for November or for the fall. Fill your home with cozy blankets, as many places as you can have. You can't see right now because I'm filming this, but we've got 1, 2, 3 blankets here on the couch near me because our home does get a little chilly, unfortunately. I'd love to get a wood stove or a pellet stove because we don't have a fireplace. We have our little ductless heater here, but we have cozy blankets everywhere that we can possibly have them. When my kids eat breakfast at the dining room table, I wrap a cozy blanket around them. Before they go to bed at night, we put their blankets in the dryer, and they love laying down and us putting a warm blanket over them. Allow your children and yourself to just feel the embrace of a warm, thick blanket as many times as you can during the fall. And then last but not least, our taste buds. Try as best as you can. I know I'm not always feeling inspired in the kitchen every day, but to make a seasonal menu that's full of squash and pumpkin and kale and just apples, cider, all of those fall harvest flavors, incorporate them into your kitchen as much as you can this time of year. All right, so let's move past the senses and get to some activities that you can do this time of year. One activity that we have done multiple years in a row that I absolutely love is wax leaves. So you can use like a double boiler sort of, is that even what it's called? I don't know. Let me not pretend like I know these things. So essentially I boil water like a slow simmer, not anything crazy, in a pot. And then I have another glass bowl that I put over that pot and I put the wax pellets in there. And the wax slowly melts as the water is boiling underneath it, in the pot underneath it. Once the wax is fully melted, we dip the leaves in there and then we lay them out on paper bags and allow them to dry. And then we have had so much fun decorating them. We've made leaf crowns with them. We've made this beautiful like hanging art piece, which I'll show pictures of all of this. And we've done a few other art projects with the wax leaves. Along with that, I think it's a really cool idea to purchase or to find, to thrift autumn art pieces, art prints, and switch them out. So I have switched out some of the frames in our homeschool room with some autumn art prints, and they just make me so happy. So that is another way to make it feel poetically fall in your home. Even if you don't do wax leaves, you can do other leaf art. My daughter has been asking to do leaf art with me every single day. So we go outside and collect leaves, and then we just use our imaginations. What are we gonna make them into? You can make them into an animal. We've made them into trees, actually, like a little, I'll show you a picture, but we've done some really fun leaf art. And that's a really fun way to poetically experience this season as well. If there's anything left in your yard growing, which there probably is something, make a bouquet out of it. Make a fall bouquet and bring it in. You can see behind me here, and I'll put some pictures too. We have a bouquet of what was left in our yard. Some of it looks like it's dying now, but anything that I could find that had any pop of color, I'm bringing into the house and making into a fall bouquet. It's really fun to see what we can kind of scavenge for. And is that even a word? Scavenge for? Anyway, it's really fun to see what we can find in the yard and make bouquets out of at this time of year. I've even made bouquets out of like dead flowers, and I think it looks really pretty. So see what you can find that you can bring into the house. Make a fall playlist for yourself with some nice fall harvest songs. I will link my Spotify playlist down below. There's not many songs on it yet, but I'm working on it, and play it often throughout the home. Read seasonal poetry. Read your all around the year books. We have an all around the year book by Tasha Tudor. We have one by, who's the other one by? Elsa Bascow, I think is how you say her name. And we also have A Time to Keep by Tasha Tudor. They're really beautiful books that talk through the activities that happen each month of the year. And so as each month changes, we try to read that month and look at the pictures, see how the pictures make us feel, anticipate what that month is gonna have to offer. I love Thanksgiving time, and I think it's a really good time to give a thoughtful, small, like thank you gift or gift of gratitude to your neighbors and your friends. It could be something really simple. I think a year or two ago, we just did hand soap and a little hand towel and gave people a note that told them we were so thankful that they were our neighbors, and had a little snippet from, I think, Psalm 103 on it. So this is a good time of year to just say thank you to your neighbors and that you're grateful for them. This is also a really good time of year to read scripture that has to do with the harvest, and especially I'm thinking of Psalm 65. There is a song, I think by Hillsong, called You Crown the Year, and it's based on that psalm. And so listening to those psalms, reading those psalms, I think is a really beautiful thing to do at this time of year. You can plant fall bulbs at this time of year. Last year we planted tulips, and I have not gotten fall bulbs yet, but that really needs to be on my list. Like mid-November always seems to be the time when I get them in the ground, and it's my favorite thing to see flowers coming up in the spring that I haven't had to plant in the spring, but that I planted in the fall, and like your hard work just pays off in the spring is a really beautiful thing. And it's a good way for your kids to see too how long sometimes it takes for something to bloom. This time of year, I also really love making bird feeders. You can make homemade bird feeders just out of like a plastic water bottle or something like that. But there's also recipes you can find online where if you mix in like a little gelatin and you put it in a mold, you can make a bird feeder that's just the bird seed, and it's like stuck together with the gelatin. We've done hearts before, and we hang them in the tree behind our house with all of the windows so we can watch the birds. Bird watching in the winter in our tree is one of our favorite things to do. And what really brings the birds is the bird seed and the bird feeders. 2 more Thanksgiving ideas. One of them is to have your kids help you to make name cards for the Thanksgiving table. We did this a few years ago, and though I would like to do it again, the name cards got so nice that we've been able to, they've held up really well, and we've used them for I think 2 or 3 years in a row now. And so we might use the same ones from last year again. However, it might be nice to make new ones. But if you haven't already done that, make some name cards, some fall themed name cards for people around the Thanksgiving table. And then last but not least, I'm gonna end this video by showing you some of my favorite Thanksgiving books that we like to get out this time of year. Most of them are Thanksgiving, some of them are just fall themed, but getting out seasonal books and then putting them away when the season is over makes them really special and makes this time of year feel really special for its own sake. I hope this gave you some ideas of how your children can experience this month and the fall in a really poetic way that's full of wonder and imagination, and they don't need to be learning facts about anything. We just want them to experience all the goodness that the fall can offer, or the fall does offer. And actually, I hope that you are also able to experience those things as a mother, because your experience of the fall matters just as much as your kids does. If you haven't already subscribed and you'd like to stick around for more videos, I'd love if you'd subscribe and leave me a comment down below if you have any ways that you particularly love to experience fall. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.